Hey everybody, so I want to get right into this video. Not done an insurance video in a long time. A lot of reasons, mainly because our real estate team got on a rocket ship of growth, and we were having to make new hires, and then hire positions, and build positions and train for positions we never had or really thought about having. So that really took me out of the insurance game a lot. Also, I didn't have any full-time person kind of running the show. And insurance is very time-consuming to do it the right way, meaning actually shop you, actually try to find the best carrier, look into your coverages. It takes a lot of time to do that. And I've been very humbled, and now having my insurance license a year, starting the business without any experience, and everybody told me not to do that, which is fine, right? I think everybody, the way that we do our real estate team, everybody told me, well, that doesn't make any sense. That's stupid. And now we're one of the largest real estate teams in the state of Tennessee, let alone also in the country. We've kind of done it our way, which again is, just that, no sales, just service aspect of it, educating people, providing value to people, letting people, providing basically the options, and letting people make the best decision for themselves. So also being able to guide them and answer their questions truthfully, instead of just trying to, sell somebody and make some money. But now I have Kayla back, who was with me there last year, and she's back, ready to go. We've been working on some systems and processes, some really great things to put in place for insurance to really get back into the game, and really start, attacking things where it's more so I've been kind of very laid back with it. Still got plenty of people that'll come and, ask me for quotes and stuff, but sorry about that. Bless me. There's that aspect of it. We did a name change. Just didn't think it was appropriate. When I was doing when I started this company, I figured it would be more something that came off of our real estate business. The sphere. People that know me, that understand how I work and trust me. And so kind of went with the name and quickly kind of realized probably wasn't the best business move to do that. And so we went and really thought about it and just moved to a DBA, so a doing business as, Orange Shield Insurance. And in doing that and bringing Kayla back on, we're able to offer more than just the property and casualty, which for most people, right, when they talk about insurance, property casualty, that really confuses people. But in a sense, it really just means your home and auto and your toys. So toys like boats and side-by-sides and RVs and stuff like that. So that's what I have always been able to provide. That's been the reason why I started the insurance company. And with Kayla coming on, she is licensed in life and health. And then she also does the Medicare and Medicaid. We've had a lot of conversations about that, and the vendors who we're going to use to go through that. And I think if you know me, and I've done a few videos about it over the years, but if you definitely know me personally, know my opinion, especially on life insurance, health insurance, boy, that's just a complicated thing. And I'll be honest, again, I'm not licensed in it, but it's a truly complex thing to really understand, because I feel like they constantly move the goalpost on here's your deductible, but then that's not your max out-of-pocket deductible, but then there's a deductible over here for this, and then you're confused, so it's a lot. And I feel like it's very intentionally done, and the words are intentionally used to confuse you, and so nobody really knows what the heck they're getting. But Kayla being licensed in it, and being the same values and the morals and wanting to do it the right way and explain it, she can do all that. Same thing like Medicare, Medicaid. I don't understand that stuff. I'm not going to pretend to understand it. I've learned a little bit more about it, understanding, it's the age thing, and it kind of sounds weird saying this, but basically it's kind of the insurance, old people get if they don't have other insurance, and then there's like penalties if you don't get it, and you sign up only within like 3-month time period, and it's like an enrollment period, and then there's special periods. I'm like, oh my gosh, confusing. But we can offer that. It's never going to be something we're just like, like, hey, yes, we're like pushing as a business to like truly focus on. But there is a lot of misinformation out there, and then kind of talking about life. I think life insurance, understand life insurance decently. Term, whole life. There's all kinds of pyramid scams out there. Every pyramid to me is pretty much a scam, even though it's, I guess not a pyramid, multi-level marketing and all this crap they talk about. But the reason why life insurance is so sought after and prevalent by sales reps is because the commission structure. Odds are your first year of premium, let's just say, I don't know, I'm making this number up, but for ease of numbers, that you paid $1,000 a year for your life insurance. Odds are the person who sold you that is going to make $1,000 off of you, meaning that's their commission. So it's very sought after, whereas property and casualty, if you call me and said, Steven, I want you to do my auto, and your auto's $1,000 a year, probably at most, I might make $150 at most, right? $150. Now, the cool thing about that, again, and the reason why people get into insurance as a business financially is because of, ideally we provide you great service. Ideally, we always make sure you got the best insurance possible, and by shopping you, and then you keep your insurance with me. So it's, I make that $150 year over year. And of course, if you have common sense, what do prices do every year? They pretty much tend to go up. And so, in the next year it's $150 or $1,050, and then it's $1,200, and then it's $1,300, right? Prices always kind of go up. So in theory, the commissions always go up. But also, like I say that, and it's, I can sell $1,000 auto policy, and then some circumstances make $80. And that's not even my like take home, right? There's like splits. And then, that doesn't count all the fees and that it costs to run an insurance company. I pay like $3,000 a year in insurance for the insurance company, which is pretty crazy. But you have insurance, right? So, I got to sell a lot of policies just to break even. I lost money last year. I'll lose money this year. But this was a understanding. And I'm just kind of wanting to be extremely transparent of, how everything works and try to share with you guys a bunch of information, but kind of on the life insurance, we can offer that. We can explain the differences. We can talk to you about the pros and cons. We can tell you why one way might be better for some people, but not better for the other people. But if you hear anybody out here that's talking about life insurance, you do this and it pays you and you make money and it's the best financial decision ever, blah, 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 trash. Go ahead and tell you that. You should get life insurance, again, to basically be able to take care of your family if something was to happen. The same thing, insurance is not there to make you money. Insurance is there to basically replace something if you ever have to use it. That's, a catastrophe. Your auto getting a wreck, and your insurance is there to replace your auto at the value it is. It's not there to replace your Toyota Camry, which is what I drive, with a Bentley. It's not there to replace your $400,000 house with a $600,000 house. It is there to basically replace and get you back to exactly where you were financially before the event happened. In talks to a lot of carriers, and so me as an independent brokerage, right, I have access to, basically all the carriers that work with independent brokers, which is like, 50. Now, some of them I have direct appointments with, which is very easy for me. I get to go in, I get to quote it, I get to get you a quote back in 15, 30 minutes. Some of these I do not have a direct appointment with, which means I have to use a third party, which means I go in, I submit it. We wait 1 to 2, usually business days, and then we get the quote back. At that point, we're able to then go back to you. But typically what happens is we get something back, and then they want some clarifying information, they want more information. So it kind of sucks, but some of those quotes, and again, to shop you properly, and with everybody to find the best deal. Sometimes it does take a couple days. It's frustrating for us because we definitely don't want that, be waiting on a third party. I know you don't want that. Nobody likes to, just wait on insurance. But I want to be transparent of how things work. But we're definitely in the process of trying to get more home carriers. I will say it's crazy. I'm in real estate. People want us to quote their homes more than anything, which was to be expected. And in a weird way, it sounds weird saying this, but we don't have a lead problem. We don't have a quote problem, meaning we have people that want us to help them. But we're going to be honest with you, when our home carriers, we have several of them, but home is so weird, and weird's not even the right word. Inconsistent, that's what I'll say. And by inconsistent, I mean all these carriers, they call it appetites. Also, all these insurance companies have different appetites. So their law of large numbers, right? Their Excel sheet with billions of data points, essentially, say this is a profitable home for us in this price point, in this zip code, in this build type. This is what we want. They also, for some of them, they say, hey, this home type in this zip code, in this price point, is not a profitable business for us. We don't want this. And the thing is, it's so all over the board that you never know, which is why we submit it to all of them. And it's oftentimes we'll submit stuff, we'll get a preliminary quote back, or like, great, everything looks good. We'll click the button to basically get it finalized, and then they'll come back and say, no, you know what, carrier denied. And it's so frustrating for me to spend, 1 to 2 hours, or Kayla 1 to 2 hours really doing all this, talking to you about, hey, here looks like the best quote. All right, well, great. We're going to submit it for, final approval. We click the button for final approval, and I'll be damned if it doesn't kick it back. And then we got to go back to you and say, hey, that $1,000 policy we told you got, best deal. Yeah, that one actually got denied. And then the next cheapest is $1,600. And of course, what are you going to do? Pissed off. I don't blame you. I'm pissed off too. But it's a weird game to play. We are working on getting more home carriers. We got some conversations that have already started happening, and some that are coming up with some very well-known and very well-respected larger insurance companies that are willing to offer us their home, which will be huge for us. Huge for us. Now, on a side note on auto, I would tell you this: auto, Geico, and Progressive crush everyone almost 90% of the time. Very rarely am I going to see a carrier beat those two on auto, and I have both of them. And so I would tell you, if you're not a homeowner and you just want auto and you don't have those two, let us quote you. We will save you some money. And here's the thing, right? And I think, again, most people got a little bit of common sense. By selling you a cheaper policy, I make less commission, which is fine. I'm not in it for the commission. I'm in it to help, and then the money will come if more people you help. So it's, depending on the insurance agent themselves. I'm not going to say carrier or brokerage, but you may have somebody, and if they don't think you're shopping them, and they see one policy for $1,500, another policy for $2,000, they may start with that $2,000 as a way to try to sell you to get more money. And then if you're kind of like, oh, that's too much, I really want to find something cheaper, and they're like, oh, actually, well, I found this $1,500 one, to like fall back on to make you think that you're getting a deal whenever they didn't present the $1,500 one first. That's a sales tactic, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to sales. So just be aware of that. Whereas us, we're going to give you the cheapest, and if there's 2 or 3 that's close, we're going to give you all 2 or 3 of them. And maybe you have a preference on the name, the carrier. Maybe some have a certain perk that another one doesn't. The rental car situation, the tow situation might be a little bit different. Look at the deductibles. I think deductibles is something people need to really consider. Because these insurance companies, if you file a claim, I'm going on a rant now, but if you file a claim, if you file a claim, that's not a good thing. These insurance companies will drop you. And they also, when you go to quote with them and you've got a claim against them or against anybody, they don't like it. They're going to jack up their prices because you're risky. They are in this business to make money. So my deductibles, in learning this, in the game, I pretty much on the rental properties and real estate, I took all my deductibles at $5,000. Now again, deductibles is something that you have to really think about, consider financially where you are in life. I could not have done a $5,000 deductible when I was 18, 21, 25, probably even 30. I couldn't have done a $5,000 deductible. But, you know, I'm able to move my deductible from $1,000 to $5,000, and I'm just going to kind of give you ease of numbers, maybe save $800 a year in that policy by switching it over. But you got to play it, right? It doesn't make sense to go from a $1,000 deductible to a $5,000 deductible, which is a $4,000 difference, in order to save $200 a month, because it's going to take you 20 years to pay that $4,000 back. Well, you know, probably somewhat of a little bit of a chance that within 20 years something's going to happen and you need to use it, right? So you got to kind of evaluate like what makes sense for those numbers there. And I knew this was going to happen, and I started talking about something. I went down rabbit holes because I get passionate about this stuff, and talking about all the scams and cons and how the game is played. I think I gotta get a gate. Is this gate open? Yes. All right. But anyways, to recap, right? Insurance is still crazy, but they say it's getting better. They say the carriers are really going to start opening up. A lot of carriers are coming out. They're emailing me now and be like, hey, we're lowering rates. Hey, we're lowering rates. Hey, we're opening back up. Hey, this is the type of business that we want. But it's very niche. That's why, you know, I'm not going to knock what they call captive carriers. I'm not going to knock those carriers at all, right? Because shop. It's not a credit pull to shop insurance. Shop. You're not going to offend me if you go back and say, oh, you know, Stephen, thanks so much, but I found, you know, it's cheaper at State Farm. Great, go to State Farm. But you should be shopping insurance, because there's an insurance company out there. Odds are, whatever you are, whatever you own, wherever you live, that they probably want your type of business. Otherwise, there's all these other insurance companies that are like, you know what, we'll take it, but we're going to charge an extra fee, or we don't want it all. And so you have to find out who has an appetite for you. So I've, in the last, I'll say 3 years, I've switched my auto 4 times. And because I've continued to, every time something comes up, I will shop it. And carriers have all these different business models. Some of them are very cheap to start off with, and they jack your price up. And some of them don't jack your price up. So you got to play the game with them. And I'm not going to be gotten by these companies. I'm going to make sure that I kind of control it myself and you know, do what's best for me. But if you got any questions about insurance, right? And again, name change, Orange Shield Insurance. We do everything now. You know, your life, your health, Medicare, Medicaid. Again, I'm going to send you to Kayla for that. I'm going to send you to Kayla for everything. She's awesome. She's way more knowledgeable than I am. Got years of experience. Super great at this stuff. I'm always kind of in the background, helping. I'm always learning and trying to understand it. But I'm really trying to go after the relationships with the carriers, to give you guys more options, when and if you use us. But as always, if you got any questions on insurance, and I mean any questions, we are happy to help. We're not going to look to say, oh, we answered your question, can we quote you? We're not that type of business. We're not going to also, the annoying part, and we don't do this in real estate. We're not going to be like, oh, hey, thanks for letting us help you. By the way, do you got any referrals we can call? We don't do that. We've never done that. That's just, I cringe. I wouldn't want somebody doing that to me. So we're not going to do it. But we want to be here as a resource to help people explain things. Yeah, I think our business will grow like that. So, holla.